You ready to rock?
Can you please speak into the microphone, Angie?
No, I'm doing that one. I figured one less person in that room would be good. We talked about it last night. After you and I said we were going to have him do it, I thought
You ready to rock?
probably safer for
Not
everybody.
pull it.
Can you please speak into the microphone, Angie?
Get a picture of the five pairs doing that one. Echoes. I figured one less person in that room would echoes inside of your living room last night. After you and I said we were going to have him.
It's so silent.
Okay, you're not gonna rock. Okay, perfect. Thank
Had a
you.
picture of the five air scrubbers. Had a picture of the five air scrubbers. All those turnovers.
Chairman Rogers,
Yes.
we're ready.
Okay, very good.
Scrubbers.
Okay, this meeting of the Madera County Board of Supervisors is now called to order, and we're going to ask, do we have any additions to the agenda?
There are no additions.
No additions. County Council, can you read closed session into the agenda, please?
Yes, Chairman, members of the board, good morning. There are two items for your
Oh,
closed.
hold on. When we speak, if we
Chairman
can,
Rogers?
just remove our masks
ready.
for, just while we're speaking, because it's just really hard. This meeting of the Madera County Board of Supervisors is now called to order, and we're going to ask, do we have any additions to the agenda?
There are no additions.
To the matrix.
So, Chairman, the two items for closed session is Government Code Section 54957.6, conference with your labor negotiator. Your designated representative is Director Alba Gomez, and the employee organization is all units. You also have a decision whether to initiate litigation under Government Code Section 54956.9, paragraph 4, subsection D, and that's regarding one case. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any, is there any public here to address the board concerning the closed session? No public? I'll bring it back to the board. Any questions from the board? Okay, if not, we will retire to closed session. Testing 1, 2. Okay, let's try to come together here. We're going to open this meeting again. Wherever possible, social distance, and I know that families are okay gathering together, so we have some families that are gathered in pods. That's fine. But the rest of us need to observe the decorums because of circumstances that I know you understand. So anyway. So continuing our meeting, County Council, well, first of all, we had Supervisor Leticia Gonzalez attend the closed session for continuity, and she did not vote yet, but there wasn't anything to vote on yet, so, but already a contributing member. County Council, was there anything to report out of closed session?
Chairman, there are no reportable actions from your closed session.
Thank you very much. Okay, at this time, we're going to open and close in memory of, and I'll turn it over to Supervisor Wheeler.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I post a lot of stuff that public health sends me to how to educate my people up there in District 5, and anybody else who wants to look at my posts. And I take a lot of heat. I can't tell you. I've been called Tommy, Commie, and you name it. And but you know, I had polio when I was 5 years old. They didn't have no vaccine then, and I spent a whole year in the Fresno County Hospital. And when I got out, I think it was 1948. They come out finally with a polio vaccine in 1955, and they, you know, I thought it was a big shot. I think I was in the 6th, 5th grade. They And they had all lined up. They had those sugar cubes, and I said, well, I don't have to do it because I already had polio. I was wearing a brace on my leg then too at the time, and they said no, there's 3 types of it. Just like now we're finding out about COVID. There's probably going to be more. Well, I told some of them until it gets close to home, you don't understand how bad it could be. Well, my cousin, first cousin, my mom's sister's boy, that we kind of grew up together, a year older than me. He died with it, healthier than heck. He great athlete at Reedley High School and Reedley College. He had the record for pole vaulting until they come out with all the fancy poles. And I got to high school, that's what I wanted to be, a pole vaulter, and it was as good as he. But he died from that COVID Christmas Eve. But I put a post on Facebook, and I said, all you naysayers and all that, now it's hit home to me. Had some friends have it, had some friends lose some loved ones. And it hits right at home, really hurts. And so funny, not funny, I guess. I got his sister, Gail, sent me her Christmas card and said that Jimmy and his wife both are really sick. I got it about 2 days before Christmas, and then he died Christmas Eve. So all you people don't think it's real, it's real. And then another friend of mine, that Native American up in North Fork, Mono tribe, Randy Johnson, we went to high school together. He died from diabetes. He didn't die from COVID. He passed away last week too. Great man. Hell of a logger. So, thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very, very much.
I've got one
Go ahead.
as well. Just this past week, a member of the Ranchos community, very active in youth sports. Jennifer Lundgren, her husband Eric, daughter Kayla, and son Jacob, good friends of my kids. She was one of the people that was always doing everything at the snack bar, doing everything as the team mother for the Ranchers Youth Football, active in rodeo. She passed away in a car accident. Young family, just please keep the Lundgren family in your prayers. 2 young kids, and keep Eric, their father, in your prayers as they're dealing with this loss. And just wanted to open and close in her memory.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I like to remember those over the last year in 2020 that we don't know. There's many times that, we bring up names or people we've gone to school with, or people maybe that are prominent in the community, but there's also many that have gone on before us that maybe they're not famous, maybe they're not well known, maybe we don't know them, but that doesn't make them any less significant. It could be a father, a mother, a grandparent, somebody who's been involved in youth sports, who has created a legacy, who has been a great leader. And what I'd like to do at this point is remember those people, the significant citizen, but the unknown citizen, but those who have made a contribution to those in our city and in our county. Thank you.
Yes, and I think we'll do that in a moment of silence as we approach the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll ask Pastor Roger Leach to come forward. He's going to do the invocation. We'll take that moment of silence first, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. I asked Bobby Kahn if he'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance following that. Let's bow our heads for that moment of silence, and then Pastor Leach, you can go ahead and lead out after a moment.
Heavenly Father, this morning we thank you that sometimes that your word is so true when it rings out that silence is golden. Lord, whenever that we are silent, we again just pause to reflect. And we thank you for life. We thank you for those that have given it all to those in our community. Lord, this morning and this beginning of the new year, we pray that you guide us, O Lord, in this very special new year, this special new day, every day. Give us hope to envision new dreams, to rise above our limitations, our fears, and whatever holds us. And Lord, I pray that as we think about those things that hold us down, we think about things that will cause us to rise up. Give us courage to stand on our own, fairness in our decisions. Bless our county with water, health, and especially joy. To experience the beauty, the people, and the life of Madera County. Faith to live in freedom, hope, and love. We thank you this day, O God. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So thankful for everyone that's here today, but because of the crowd that we do have today, we were unable to have many of the recipients of the Chairman's Culture of Excellence Award for the fourth quarter here. And so they've been given their awards, and some of them are watching by satellite dish here or whatever, by internet, and very happy to make these awards known. I'll just say that I was going to save this for later on, but I think it's appropriate right now. This has been a very unorthodox year. This has been a year where our staff has stepped up to reinvent the way we do business so that we could continue to give the services that are so vital to this community. And extraordinary things have happened. Extraordinary efforts have been made. And I can truthfully say that I'm amazed at our staff and their ability to adapt and overcome. If ever there was a time that they've observed that Marine motto to adapt and overcome, they certainly have done that here at Madera County and have shown a light of excellence in all that they've done. And I'm very proud of our staff, very proud of not only the recipients of this award, but all of the staff of Madera County that have stood in their place and done their job even in the face of serious times. And so thank you for doing that. And thank you for shining the light of excellence upon what we do. Appreciate it. So I'm going to read these recipients of these awards and a little bit about them. Adela Herrera, nominated by Krista Riggs. Adela continuously goes above and beyond to provide excellent public service to our patrons and also to support her coworkers and to contribute to a positive work environment. She is truly an unsung hero at the library, working so hard to keep the daily wheels turning while also taking on much of the behind-the-scenes planning and ordering that makes others look good through successful projects and streamlined processes. She is selfless and gives so much of her time to help the library and others. So congratulations, Adela Herrera, on receiving the Chairman's Award of Excellence. With that, she'll receive a certificate on a nice plaque, and each one of these recipients will receive that, as well as the challenge coin that says committed to excellence with the American flag on it and the county emblem on the other side. So very nice recognition for these worthy recipients. The next recipient is Esmeralda Lopez. nominated by Chris Childers. Esmeralda Lopez is a juvenile detention officer 2. Officer Lopez is always positive and willing to share her ideas in the Madera County Juvenile Detention Facility to promote pro-social behavior with our youth. Officer Lopez has also facilitated projects including the American Flag Project, which involves the youth making flags using wooden pallets, as well as the Sky's the Limit hot air balloons, arts and crafts. The probation department commends Officer Lopez for her out-of-the-box thinking to come up with pro-social activities for detained youth during these trying times of limited resources. What an excellent, excellent statement. Congratulations, Esmeralda Lopez, on receiving the Chairman's Excellence Award. And I don't know if I'll pronounce this correctly or not. It's a tough name to pronounce. But Kamara Biowoji, and nominated by Matt Treber. Matt, did I get that right? Where's Matt? Oh, thank you. I did. Okay. Kamara is extremely dedicated to his job and profession, and his number one focus is serving the community with great customer service. He maintains excellent relations with the public. Boy, and that's what it's all about, isn't it? And is consistently wanting to strive to make working with our department a positive place. He applies creative thinking and continuously suggests new ideas. Kamara can consistently be relied upon and shows a sincere interest in making the county a better place. Thank you, Kamara Biowoji, and we're grateful for your attitude and service. Congratulations on the Chairman's Award. Carol Nunez, nominated by Tyson Pogue. Did I pronounce that right? Is it Nunez or Nunes?
Yeah, Pogue is correct.
It's Nunez? Okay, great. Carol began her employment with the Sheriff's Office as a program assistant and has worked her way up to a senior administrative analyst. She has always given 100% in everything she does and rarely makes mistakes. She genuinely cares about her coworkers, has a positive attitude, and takes on any assignment she is tasked with, including grant applications for the emergency management team and emergency operations. She is an asset to the Sheriff's Office and to the county. And we want to congratulate Carol Nunez on this Chairman's of Excellence Award. Very good. Have you noticed a theme in all of these? That positive attitude, that willingness to go beyond and do extra. That's what it takes to be excellent. And we really appreciate that kind of attitude. The Department of Elections is the next recipient of the Chairman's Excellence Award. The November 2020 presidential election challenged each and every member of the elections division like never before. And despite the many challenges they were faced with, including a worldwide pandemic, the staff rose to the occasion and helped conduct a nearly flawless election. The team was also responsible for deploying the mobile vote center for the very first time. They all worked a tremendous amount of overtime, some 12 days or more in a row, doing whatever we asked of them, and then some, by remaining calm in the face of adversity and steady while under immense pressure. The team demonstrated exceptional professionalism and dedication to the county and its residents. And you certainly don't hear of any complaints about problems or fraud or anything like that with our elections department, which is something to be commended for, something we can rely on, and they've done a very good job. So we appreciate them, and congratulations to that entire department on being the recipient of the Chairman's of Excellence Award. I believe that's all. Let me read off the names of the elections team so that we can properly recognize them rather than just giving the title. And they were nominated by Rebecca Martinez, Beth Parkinson, Parksian, I'm sorry. Did I get that right, Justin? Thank you. Catherine Martinez, Jose Gonzalez, Daniel Garcia, Mary Perlongo, Lisa York, Juan Pineda, Ann Marks, Claudia Trujillo, Jacqueline Luna, Maricel Hernandez, Anthony Fernandez, Crystal Cortez, Sylvia Almanza, Kyle Absher, Justin White, and Stephanie Sibley. Let's give all of the recipients a round of applause. And I'd like to say in my closing as chairman on these excellence awards, we value the people who serve the people we value. That's a motto in my life, and I know that this board feels the same way. And I'll say it again. We value the people who serve the people we value. Thank you very much. With that, we're going to enter into ceremonial portion of the Board of Supervisors with the administration of the oath of office for elected officials. The first to be sworn in will be Supervisor Rob Poitras of District 3, and he'll be sworn in by his wife, Carol. So if you want to come forward and do that in front or whatever you would like to do.
Please stay 6 feet away from each other.
Arm's length.
Here, this is good.
All right. I, Robert Poitras,
I, Robert Poitras,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental
reservation.
reservation or purpose of evasion,
Spell it out for us. Spell it out.
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
What are we supposed to do?
I was going to say, after
Oh,
what,
yeah,
6 or
gotta do it
7
again.
oaths of
We
office?
have to do it again. How about this?
Hey.
Good. All right.
I would think by now you'd have that memorized after you.
No, it's too far in between.
Rob has been serving for so many years and has administered that oath, I don't know how many times.
Yeah, why do you have to keep promising?
I guess because some forget, huh?
I guess.
You're not one of those, but some have forgotten their oath, and that's unfortunate. But thank you, Rob, for your service, and congratulations.
Thank you.
The next person to enter into the oath of office, our own Leticia Gonzalez, and she'll be sworn in. She'll be sworn in by Rebecca Martinez, our county clerk recorder. There you go.
There's somebody behind that man.
I can hear you. I, Leticia Gonzalez, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
How come you were shaking so much?
That's
Your arm was like this.
I'd like to ask Letty if there's something she'd like to say.
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just taking it all in, so give me a moment, please.
Your time.
Well, first of all, thank you, everyone. And I want to introduce my family and some special people that are here for me today. First of all, my sister from Grass Valley, Rosemary Gonzalez. My two sister-in-laws, Leticia and Karina Gonzalez. My best friend, Claudia Camarena, with her son Ishi. And all my nieces and nephews are here, and it's really important for them to be here for me today. And I want to introduce them, if I may.
Yes,
We
go
have Matilde, Ariana, Celeste, Vincent III. We have Karina, and we have Robert. So thank you all for being here today. And if I may, I want to talk directly to them. You represent our future, and you are the very reason why I decided to step out of my comfort zone and run for public office. Your successes in our communities or your successes are our community's successes, and you deserve the best to thrive and to realize your full potential. So thank you for always keeping me grounded, for inspiring me to do my best, and for challenging my patience, and also for teaching me how to use Snapchat and TikTok. You are the highlight of my life, and I love you very much. So I want to thank God for guiding me on this journey, and my family and friends for always being there for me through the good and through the bad. And while they may not be here today, I want to thank my beloved parents, Vincent and Rosemary Gonzalez, who are watching from heaven, together with my late brother, Vincent. Their hard work and sacrifices paved the way for me to be here today. Never in a million years did I think that I, the daughter of a farm worker and a caregiver, would be standing before you as the third woman and first Latina to represent Madera County in its 120-year history. I did not get here on my own, so people like Jess Lopez Sr., Marge Medellin, and Max Rodriguez, who broke barriers and defied the status quo, I want to thank them. I want to thank my team of volunteers, supporters, and advisors, specifically Pedro Ramirez, Marta Alicia Felix, the Valley Forward team, Santos and Marta Garcia, Felipe and Violeta Gramaldo, and Jess and Alvaro Lopez, and Esther Ray for all your help and support along the way. I want to especially thank my boss, Supervisor Max Rodriguez, who gave me a chance 13 years ago. The mentoring and leadership skills that you have afforded me have been invaluable. Thank you for the opportunity to work with you and for you. Under your direction, we have accomplished many good things, and I am committed to continue to do so. Today, by no means is goodbye. It's the start to a new chapter, and I hope I make you proud. So thank you. Thank you for your 16 years of service. I also want to thank my mentor and friend, Rebecca Martinez. I wholeheartedly appreciate your friendship, your advice, and your support. You motivate me to be bold, to lead by example, and to unapologetically do the right thing. So thank you. But above all, and more importantly, I want to thank the good people of District 4 for putting their trust and faith in me. I am humbled and honored to serve you. It is a profound responsibility that I do not take lightly. My commitment to you is to be fair and just, to be open, to learn and to grow, to bring a fresh perspective to local government, and to ensure that our voices are heard. Please know that my door is always open, and I will do my best to represent the needs and interests of my constituency. I'm excited for the opportunity to work with this Board of Supervisors, whom I have grown to know personally and professionally. I look forward to working with our county team under our CAO, Jay Varney's leadership, and I am prepared to dive in and work with our cities, partner agencies, and community groups to make Madera County the best place to live, work, and play. Y para los que me escuchan por el internet, primeramente quiero dar las gracias a Dios. Quiero agradecer a mis familiares y amistades, los residentes del distrito y el condado de Madera. Y aunque no estén aquí conmigo, quiero dar las gracias a mis queridos padres que me acompañan hacia el cielo, junto a mi hermano y nuestros seres queridos. Por sus sacrificios, ellos han allanado el camino. Es una profunda responsabilidad y un gran honor servir mi comunidad. Les quiero dejar saber que siempre pueden confiar en mí. Mi puerta siempre estará abierta y siempre voy a luchar para lo mejor de nuestra comunidad. Muchísimas gracias y que Dios los bendiga. Thank you and God bless you.
Supervisor Rodriguez, do you have anything you'd like to say at this time?
Well, I wasn't prepared to say anything, but I'll tell you what, I served 16 years on this board. I really enjoyed it. Good people. And Regina, Letty, when she came on, we talked and I analyzed her, and I decided to pick her. At that time, her parents had just passed away, so she was a very sad young lady. Well, we talked, and I decided to appoint her my chief of staff, and I have not been disappointed one moment. She has taken care of this chief of staff position to the best that anybody can do it. This lady worked hard. I think she met almost every employee, directors in the county of Madera, and she knows everybody by first name, and she answers all the phone calls and tries to solve the problems. And if she can't do it, then she will admit it that she couldn't, and she's very frank about it. So I think I'm going to leave this position in good hands. Letty is a good person. She cares about the people, and she cares about this board because she's been with us for 13 years. That's not counting the position in the social services that she served over there, but she's done a very good job on this board, and I think we all appreciate her. She's going to do well.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you.
Thank you. And of course, as we've already said, Max, we're going to miss you. We wish you a wonderful retirement, and we love you very much, Max. You've become a dear friend. Every member of this board, I know I'm speaking from my heart, but I know that also comes from all of us. So we do love you, and we wish you the very best. Don't be a stranger. And at this time, Supervisor Leticia Gonzalez will take the seat of honor. You can give her a handshake.
Yeah.
So is that a nice way of telling Max to leave?
All good things must come to an end. These things only happen once this way, so it's important to take the time to enjoy what's going on here. This is a very important and solemn occasion, and I know we all take it very seriously. Congratulations.
We're going to move right.
All right. So the next order of business is the reorganization of the Board of Supervisors, and nominations are open for chairman of the board.
I move we approve Rob Poitras as our chairman of the board for 2021.
Motion is made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Let's vote.
Oh, wait, you said Rob Poitras?
Was Brett second?
Yes.
Yes.
Brett?
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Chairman Rogers?
With all my heart, yes.
Hey.
Vote passes
All right.
5-0.
Thank you, everybody. Whoa.
Go, sir. Want a picture of that? Somebody want a picture of that? Here. The passing of the gavel.
Right.
Welcome. It's all yours, sir.
Very good, thank you. And we will move on to the selection of the chairman pro tem. And do I have a nomination for the chairman pro tem?
I nominate Tom Wheeler for our bylaws.
I second.
Okay, motion is, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right, very good. Well, we have a motion and a second, and we'll take a roll call vote.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Chairman Poitras?
Yes.
Vote passes
All
5-0.
right, very good. Congratulations.
If I may, just to interject, some of you might not understand why that is works the way it does. The first year of a person's tenure on the board, they're not allowed to serve as chairman or chair pro tem. So that's why it passed over District 4. It wasn't any other thing but per our bylaws.
Which is
Okay, very good. And
not that I don't have faith in Tom Wheeler as chairman pro tem, but per our bylaws.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
yes, so it's not an apology for selecting
No,
Tom.
no.
Okay, very good. Super. Just a couple more things before we'll take a little break. The first thing I'd like to do is to recognize outgoing Chairman David Rogers. First of all, he's not going anywhere. He's continuing on, of course, on our board, but it's he mentioned earlier, it's been anything but normal operations, anything but status quo. It's been everything but. And he's just done a fantastic job as our chairman, leading us through this time, leading the meetings, quickly pivoting when he had to. And so we just like to thank David for all that he's done during this time, and look forward to continued contributions, and as well as just this great sense of teamwork we have with a trusted colleague. So on behalf of that, I'd like to present him with a plaque, and it's the recognizing him as the chair. Actually, the chair, it's got his two chairmanships, 2015. Did they not give you one in 2015? No,
they did.
in 2020, and in appreciation for your dedicated services. So, Chairman, here you go.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I'd just like to say something about Dave. I mean, this has been a crazy year. We started out pretty good the first 3 months and got to come to all the meetings, but it's been almost who could be the chairman almost with COVID and everything. And Rob stepped in really well, I thought, to handle some of that. You couldn't. And I appreciated that the way he did it, and I really appreciate your leadership in those chairman awards. Brett started that, and I thought that was a great thing to carry on. I'm not sure what Rob's going to do, but thank you for doing that,
Thank you.
Dave, and thank you for being a friend.
Thank you. I want to state that these gentlemen and that lady have meant so much in my life. When you work with somebody every day like we do, you become more than friends. You become like a family. And we've endured a lot together. We've gone through many things, many storms, many trials together. And the interesting thing about that is it's only made us stronger together. And there's a biblical reference that I'd like to make, and that is, I believe it's in the book of Proverbs, where it says that as iron sharpeneth iron, so does one man's countenance the other. And so truly, they've been the iron in my life, and I appreciate each one of them for the contribution they've made to me. And I think if we're a success, we're that together. And when we fail together too. But also the employees of this county, you're not any better than the people that work for you. And truly, you have made this county what it is. You've made us a success, and I appreciate you so much. You've risen to the occasion many, many times. Thank you for your work. Thank you for making us look good, even in what you do. I appreciate it.
Very good. Thank you, David. Just like to take a few minutes before we take a break to introduce my family. Unfortunately, I was thinking, man, they've done so great. I've got 5 grandkids out there, and we went to the 45-minute mark, and I noticed that my granddaughter Kinsey had to probably go to the bathroom and her dad took her. So, but we almost made it there. but anyway, she was that little blonde girl walking out, and that was her dad that took her. But for those of you who, my family that remains, we have, of course, my wife, Carol. We've only been married 41 years, so we're still newlyweds. And on her lap is my grandson, Bo.
Hey,
And
Bo.
Bo and his family just moved here about 2 months ago from New Mexico. So it's they're taking up residence here in Madera. And next to Bo is my oldest grandson, Everett. He's 5.
Hey, Everett.
And that's Bo's brother. And then next to him is his Aunt Laura, my daughter. And Laura has our youngest grandchild, little Haley. And Haley's younger sister of little Kinsey, who just walked out a few moments ago. And in back of Laura is her brother, Richard. And many of you who were on this board know Rich from his days at the MCTC, and now he's taking Tico Hardware to the 21st century, so we're happy to have him back. And next to Rich is his wife, Sydney, and Sydney is holding my second youngest grandson, Herman.
Hey,
And
Herman.
there he is. And then the 2 grandkids that couldn't be here today, they live in Pasadena, little Jake and little Abby. So it's great to have them. But anyway, it's obviously a great honor, and I just like to salute the County of Madera and our staff. You know, it was recently that I saw a post that said, it's okay if the only thing you did this year was stay alive. And I thought, okay, that's nice. And I started thinking about it, and I'm kind of going, I don't know about that. Because, you know, I'm thinking, what if our first responders, if somebody called out to them, whether it's fire or sheriff's department or whoever that might be, you know, they needed help. And what if their response was, no, I'm just going to hang out here because I just want to stay alive. You know, and what would that be? And you think about our hospital workers and our other law enforcement and those who work in this building and in other buildings and are reaching out. If their thing was, well, I'm just trying to survive this year, you know, make it on your own. Well, you know, we wouldn't be anywhere. We wouldn't be a society because, you know, if that was the case, our farm workers wouldn't be out harvesting our crops. We wouldn't have processing facilities processing our food. We wouldn't have dairies working. We wouldn't have grocery workers. And it's one of those things that, no, we have to do more than just surviving. You know, we've got to take that step. That's who we are as Maderans. That's who we are as Americans. And I'm just so pleased and honored and blessed to work with an organization and have great teammates out there who have taken this on and have been there to serve others and serve with gusto. So I'm looking forward to this year. We've got a lot of great initiatives. We continue to work to bring sustainability to our aquifer, work with the homeless situation. We've got the aftermath of some awful fires up in our mountains. We are going to continue to work and work with our private enterprise to bring jobs and help grow our economy here, and it's going to be an exciting time. So thank you so much. It's a team effort, and with that, we're going to take a little break. We have some refreshments in the lobby back there, and probably take 25, 30 minutes and then come back and finish up the business of the day. So thank you so much, and thanks for being here.
Well, you're a great helper. Oh, I wouldn't have.
As a reminder, I'd like to let everybody know that the first 15 minutes of each regular session are set aside for the members of the public to address the board. The board will not take action on any items presented under public comment, and speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record. So Are there any members of the public who wish to make a comment at this time?
Good morning, Chairman. My name is Rhonda Salisbury. I'm the CEO of the Visitors Bureau for Madera County, representing this great county. We are very lucky. I just want to give a quick tourism update. So last year, as you know, and continuing, tourism is one of the hardest hit industries due to COVID. And California was hit really, really hard. We were estimating about 50% down in our budget. And because of we're in the great outdoors and we have Yosemite in our backyard, that we ended up about 20% down. So we're very, very lucky with that. It was a lot of hard work with our team behind the scenes, a lot of changing tactics. In my 30 years of tourism marketing for Madera County, I've never asked people not to come. So that was a little crazy, but it was good to step back and reflect on what we have and what we can do and how we can juggle. I don't need to remind you, but I need to remind everybody that restaurants are still suffering badly, and make sure that we're eating out when you can, take out, et cetera. But tourism is, we're going to rebound, of course. I know that's a big, that's the biggest economic driver for Madera, Eastern Madera County. And we are now behind the scenes just sending out pretty pictures and messaging that, hey, we're here when it's safe to travel again. We will be here. We will welcome you with open arms. And here's some great things to do, social distancing, but getting outside in the great outdoors. And there's a lot to see and do in this county. We're very, very lucky. So I appreciate all of your support. We are here for you. We're here to help with messaging. And we're on your side. And come on, May.
There you go.
We don't have to make reservations anymore, right? For just to attend Yosemite, just to go in. No
Exactly,
more
yeah.
reservation system.
They are open, and they're open day use only from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Yeah, they close the park.
They close the park at night, which is unprecedented, but it's nice that they're open so we can still go out. We're not asking people to come here now, but if there's something to do when.
Supervisor Frazier.
No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I just have a point.
Oh, Supervisor Wheeler?
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to announce that our CHP Lieutenant Craig Hinch is retiring. Been, I think, 6
Oh, okay, thank you, Ron. Okay, I'm sorry.
I wanted to thank you too, Rhonda.
Okay.
Thank you for what you've done and kept that things going, and they've made such a difference up there. It's not funny, so thank you so much.
Thank you all for your support. And
Very good.
And then can I go ahead and finish
Yeah,
it?
that'd be great.
Okay, he's been almost every single one of my town halls and stuff, and it seems like every time we get a good leader up there, they retire. He's been in the CHP for 23 years, he said, so been up there 6 or 7 years. And then the other one is Denise Tomey from the Forest Service. She's worked for the Forest Service 34 years, and before they made her district ranger in North Fork, she was out of Tow House, and so I've known her for quite a while because she's always on fires and stuff. So when they picked her, everybody was happy because she's one that liked logging, burning, control burns, and all that. And she's done a heck of a job. But she's also retired. They both retired January 1st, so we lost two good people, and she made probably 90% of all my town halls.
Wow.
So it's just
Yeah.
they're good people, and like Rhonda, when she retired, I don't know what they'll do at the Visitors Bureau because she keeps that thing going.
Right.
And I tell you,
Great job.
Thank you, hon. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right.
Good morning, Sarah Boss, Public Health Director. Can you hear me well with my mask on?
A little difficult.
Okay, I'll take it.
It's just we're in the cone of silence here.
You're all very protected. So I just wanted to provide a brief vaccination update. We, of course, are receiving lots and lots of questions from the community about COVID vaccination. It's in the news in terms of everyone's ability to get the vaccine out quickly. We have received an update from California Department of Public Health that's up on our website this morning. We have a direct URL for the community, which is maderacounty.com/COVID-19 vaccine. And the The different phases that are prescribed by the California Department of Public Health are up on that website so that people can kind of track and see kind of where they're at in line. We don't have timetables associated with that yet. I think we'll have a better idea of kind of the pace of things closer to the end of January. At this point, we're in phase 1A, and we are rolling out vaccination opportunities for all of our frontline healthcare workers. Our hospitals have received adequate vaccinations supplies for all of their workers in the hospitals. And Camarena Health, as of yesterday, received vaccination. They're starting to vaccinate all of their workers as well. Skilled nursing facilities are being vaccinated directly by Walgreens and CVS pharmacies through a federal program. And we're in the process of notifying and all of the rest of the frontline workers across lots and lots of different healthcare providers, including IHSS workers, working closely with Deborah and her team. And we're going to be rolling out our vaccination clinics, which we expect that public health will be shouldering a lot of the vaccination directly because of the population in Madera. Many are uninsured or underinsured, don't have a primary healthcare provider in which to go and source their vaccine. So we are doing everything we can to scale that up. There are some significant logistics challenges, and I won't go into all of the details, but they relate to things that you might have heard about. First of all, there's 2 different vaccines. They are administered differently. They're stored at different temperatures. Monitoring of all of that and making sure that it's done accurately is really important. Everyone had a hard time accessing freezers, and we have as well due to supply shortages. So we have 3 ultra cold freezers that are coming at the end of the month that will allow us to administer both the Pfizer and the Moderna. Currently, we're just working off of allocations of Moderna vaccine. The other complication is that this vaccine, partly because it's new and just because of the observations that they saw in the trials, people can have anaphylaxis reactions. So it differs from our standard flu vaccination, which we're familiar with, where we get the vaccine and we walk out the door. Now there's an observation period that's required, but that also on our side requires twice the number of clinicians, 1 person to administer the vaccine, another person be doing observation. So that obviously is a big resource issue. We've made a request to the state. The state is working to provide more clinicians out to counties. And then we've also simultaneously worked with our own risk management to identify a program, which we are finishing up the development of, in which we're going to be able to have clinicians volunteer under our medical malpractice insurance with the county to be able to help us with our vaccination clinics. The state's phased process for this has also added a lot of complication to how this works. Recently, the governor sent out a letter last week basically telling providers that if they didn't follow the tier process, that there would be penalties up to and including losing their license. Doesn't really encourage clinicians to get actively involved with providing vaccination. There's also a process of enrollment to be able to get the vaccine, and so small clinicians or small provider offices, we're going to have to work more intensively to get them on board so that they can administer directly. The data system was not fully built and robust statewide. It's something that it's required at the county level. So we were not informed of that until late in the game. We have identified our system. It will be fully programmed this week and tested. So what people will see out in the community, especially these frontline workers that we're getting scheduled, is that at the end of this week, we're running a couple clinics. We're completing our testing. We're working closely with DSS to use a larger room to be able to do that. We're testing our data system, and next week, given that the state and our kind of volunteer program kicks in and we have more clinicians available, we'll be scaling up significantly. What we're working towards is to be able to do mass vaccination clinics of 400 people per day, 7 days per week. That's what we're building towards. We think that we'll be there by the end of January and hopefully sooner than that. But it does kind of depend on these few things. Just wanted to provide you with that update.
Very good. Thank you so much. And first of all, Supervisor Frazier, do you have a question in regards to this?
It wasn't a question, but it's a comment.
Okay.
But it's my public comment. As many of you may know, or some that don't, myself and my whole family had tested positive for COVID and been out for 2 weeks. I I got a call from the Madera County Public Health Department, and the best thing that happened was that she didn't pronounce my last name correctly, which was good, right? Because that means that I know that she was treating me like
A regular person.
yeah, that it had nothing to do with my position here, and the care in her voice. It was she made me feel like everything was going to be okay, that we would get through it. Provided me with any answers I needed. I didn't need to ask a whole lot of questions because I get a lot of updates regarding this, but she had to tell me, not only myself, but 3 of my children were positive, and I just, it meant so much to have that care that you could tell is a part of what the Department of Public Health is. You can tell that there is a culture built around care for the community in there, and it was nice to hear that as a father and as someone who was positive. That honestly, when I finally got told that I was positive, I felt like there was this weight lifted off of me, and a lot of it had to do with that phone call. And I appreciated the follow-up through the online system. It was very easy to work through. At that point, your head's going in all these different directions, and to know that we have such wonderful staff and caring people over there was having to deal with it firsthand meant a lot to me, and I just wanted to thank you and your staff for everything that you've been doing during this time.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yeah, I'd like to echo that as well. I also had COVID, my entire family, and I'm assuming we had the same person because she was very responsive, very calming. She originally spoke to my wife, who had it before I did, and then afterwards followed up, and I got it. She called me, and then the same process at the time of the quarantine being over. She called and said, "How are you feeling? You know, do you have any symptoms?" You know, the whole gamut of questions, and then of course I hadn't had any. I didn't really have many symptoms. I was one of those asymptomatic people. I just really didn't. I knew my whole family had it, so that's why I tested and ended up having it. But yeah, it was just very encouraging. It made me feel really good about, I know this is going on with other members in the community, and made me feel confident that we were displaying the right kind of attitude to the public in general and helping them weather this in a positive way. So it was, and that comes from the top too. So I think, Sarah, you're going to be commended for that aspect of what went on and how efficient I think it was personally. Amazing, you know, here we are, a family, all of my kids in separate households, and they got the same thing. So there's something very encouraging about that consistency and that same message and that same feeling permeating the whole system. It says something's going really right there, and so commendation on that for you and your staff. In fact, you should have been on the Chairman of Excellence Awards for that. So this year,
We got to get through the pandemic.
yeah,
There's still time. We have, vaccination to do.
yeah.
Supervisor Wheeler?
I had a question in regard to the data that we're going to be keeping. Will there be a follow-up on the vaccination, people that are vaccinated in a period of time, maybe a sampling of the people that have received the vaccination and how they're feeling, what's going on with them, and whether or not they've experienced any negative side effects or symptoms?
So we provide and encourage each person as they get their vaccination to sign up with a system, and it works through the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. So they are monitoring the side effects. And so it happens after the first dose and then again after the second dose. And so once a person receives that, and if they register with that system, they'll get a reminder daily to go in and answer just a few key questions. Are you experiencing any symptoms? Has it kept you from being able to work? Did you need to, seek medical care? And so that data will be collected across the entire country. If you're interested in something that's more local to Madera, we could certainly look at that. And of course, it would take resources. And so that's one of the considerations.
Well, I was just thinking in terms of how valuable that information would be for the system itself or for all the people involved. The other thing is it's my understanding that substantively the two vaccines that are being administered, the Pfizer and the Moderna, are completely substantively different. And one has stem cells, one doesn't use them. Am I correct in that?
They're both mRNA vaccinations.
Okay.
And so they use what's called synthetic stem cells, which are different than stem cells. There's a lot of concern with regards to stem cells that have been
Harvested.
in other ways. And so both of those vaccines are not that type.
Both of them aren't.
Correct.
Okay, thank
And
you.
both use a very similar kind of technology in the development of the vaccine, but there are administration and storage differences between the two.
Well, thank you for that information. That is really important.
Supervisor Wheeler and then CAO Varney.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for getting that out almost exactly at 4 o'clock every day. That's what I try to look for and put it out there so everybody can do it, and I appreciate it so much. How many vaccines have we received so far in Madera County?
It's a running total that changes daily. Yesterday it was 8,700, and I think we were waiting 300 or 400 more to Camarena. So we're almost about 9,000 that have arrived. And the hospitals, it's taking a significant amount of time for them to actually administer the vaccine because of the issues that I described to all of their staff. Most of those vaccines have gone to the hospitals. Valley Children's, of course, is a huge facility.
Exactly.
And then, but we actually have about 1,000 that we're deploying towards other vaccination clinics. And as there are a percent of the population that are not opting to take it. So as hospitals have extra, we're going to be redirecting those and getting them out as quickly as possible. And it doesn't mean that people can't come back around and take it later. As soon as their phase has become eligible, if they decide to wait and kind of see how things go, that's okay. They can just participate in a vaccination clinic at a later time.
And then the second question, when do you think they'd have one up in the mountains?
So the storage of this vaccine is really tricky. So transporting it and keeping it at temperature, and then making sure that we have estimates of the right number of vaccine for the right number of people, because once it's taken out of that temperature, we have to administer it.
Use it, right.
So we are getting all of our systems working really, really well
Good
first,
before, right.
while
I agree.
while we're at the office next to the freezer where it's a bit easier. So we're going to work that out first, get our data systems set. And once we have a smooth process in the next couple of weeks, we're going to address, and we're getting what are called data loggers, which help us track the temperature. Some of that stuff is on back order as well. So we have the mountain areas squarely in our mind, but it is a bigger logistical challenge. And so we want to make sure that we do it well and we're not wasting vaccine. And we're going to coordinate with you, Supervisor, on really promoting it so that if we have 200 vaccines available, we know we give them all out on that day and not waste.
I'll get it out.
Thank you.
Is it, do they have, where you store that and transport it, is it in those containers like they used to carry semen for, cows and horses and all that stuff? Because they have to be a certain degree like that, and we had one always at the ranch that we kept our semen in, we had to replenish it with that nitrogen every so often.
Well, like a food trailer, I guess you could say, keeping something at a...
I'm familiar with ours. I can't say I'm familiar with the one that's for semen. So I can't compare the two.
I thought
Sorry.
you'd know that. Didn't you know that, Rob?
Hey, it's one of those.
I imagine
things
it's
that-
very similar. They,
Yeah.
it's
This guy's
storing
really cold
medical
like that,
supplies at temperature. So yes.
All right. Right.
So I've been thinking that's probably what those containers are. That's what I read.
Well, at the first vaccination clinic in the mountains, you'll be able to see what we use, and then you can tell us.
Very
Okay.
good. And CAO Varney.
Keep in mind that the two vaccines store at two different temperatures too, don't they? The
Right.
Pfizer has to be
Yeah,
much
one
colder, and the Moderna might be able to be stored in your freezer. I don't want one from your freezer though, Tom. Thank you. I have a follow-up question on Tom's question, and then I had a request of the board. So since we've already been working in the YOGAT, working with the gateway communities, are we going to try to do something in concert with Mariposa? Just thinking about the possibility that since they already have a hospital and a fixed position up there, generally in the mountain community, that they may have freezers that we could dispense both of our vaccines from and serve both communities. I'm sure that's some ongoing talk you're probably having with Dr. S.
Yes, there's lots of different scenarios that we're working through right now because the allocation comes specifically to us. There are smaller counties in the north that are doing things like that where they're sharing, and so we're looking into how we might do that in the mountain area.
Okay, and Mr. Chairman, since this is really useful information, not that I would want Sarah or her staff to have to come repeat it all at each meeting, but would the board like to hear an update at each of its meetings as we roll into vaccinations?
That would be great.
Okay,
it's a good
so
idea.
Sarah,
An agendized item.
yeah, so this would probably be agendized under item, well, on this agenda, it'd be 12, supervisor and staff report. So if you or Stephanie or whoever you delegate this to, Dr. Paul, we'd like to see him after the new year probably too. Make sure he didn't run away screaming from all the work he's had to do for us.
Right.
I would just go ahead and plan on it, at least for the next two meetings in January, which is the 12th and the 19th. Thanks.
And maybe in the process, I think it's a great idea. In that process, if you could deal with questions that you anticipate, from the, like the public, you see those questions. I know you do. And if you could deal with some of those each week, that would be great.
Yes, we are developing. It's I just asked our PIO today where are frequently asked questions around vaccines. So Dr. Paul is reviewing that today, and we should have it up on the website at the URL that I provided. And we'll be adding to that, and we'll certainly address those questions at that time.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, when we have what phase we're in terms of when people can get it, who's the demographic that can get it in those different phases, I think would be important, and then obviously where to get it. I think it's 90 days after you've tested positive, right, that you can get it. You can't get it until after that 90 days. Is that correct?
Close. After you've had COVID, you need to have all of your symptoms completely resolved and you're out of isolation before you can get the vaccination. Indication is that reinfection doesn't typically happen before 90 days. So people can wait 90 days and they would be safe in doing so, but you don't have to. You just have to wait until you're over your current illness.
Perfect. And since I just tested positive yesterday, it was 15 days ago.
The other thing that's important to note about that is that the reason we don't require a negative test to return to work is that a person can be completely over COVID. They're not contagious anymore. They're not transmitting virus. But their test will stay positive sometimes for a month or two after. And so a positive test is not really the criteria there.
It's just dead virus inside of you that's still detected.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, very good. If there's no other
question.
Okay.
I happened to think of this, and Brett made me think of it. If you have, if you get an antibody test and you have the antibodies present in your system, is there any reason to get the immunization?
That question I don't know for sure, but we can answer that in our next update.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, very good. And I'm sure if there's any other questions for Sarah, you can know how to contact her. We've got
Know her number.
And there's about 8 people that are here for an item for a proclamation. They've been here very patiently, and they all have, very important positions. And so I'd like, after we talk about this last item that's from Leadership Council, just like to maybe just read that. Just mention that we've received a comment for public comment. So
Can move that up, Chairman.
I'm
You're the
going
boss.
to, yeah. So if there's no other public comment, with permission for everybody, I'd like to move up to 10C. Again, I'd like to apologize for everybody that's involved with this proclamation. Again, you've been very patient, and thank you for bearing with us. But I also consider this to be a extremely important, life-saving, life-valuing presentation. So with that, we have a presentation of a proclamation naming January 2021 as National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month. So with that, who would like to introduce the topic?
Good morning, Chairman Portress and the board. I'm Deborah Martinez, Director of Social Services. We are honored to be acknowledging January as the National Slavery and Human Trafficking and Awareness Month, or what is really modern day slavery. Will we be reading the proclamation in, or?
Yes, we, I've got a proclamation here, but I think that it's a lot more important to hear from the stakeholders and those who are involved in this particular effort.
Absolutely.
For instance, I know Lieutenant Foss, not only, works really hard with the City Madera PD, but also with the Olive Foundation as far as fundraising, and also Maddie and others. So maybe you could just kind of give a general overview and with your department, and then I'd like to hear again from Lieutenant Foss and whoever else, and then I'd like to introduce the folks, and then I'll give you the thing. But otherwise, this is just a bunch of words. It's what you do and everybody else does on the street and on the road and in the lives of these people. That's what matters.
Right. And the only reason I mentioned the proclamation is that we did put some statistics in our proclamations in the recent years. And so that's why I was calling out to it, because I think obviously all the numbers are important. They all represent victims, and the numbers don't represent the families of those victims either. But in Madera County, acknowledged are 150. Sorry, sir. What has been acknowledged is 150 to 200 of victims of human trafficking and basically slavery right here in Madera County. And that's what we have acknowledged. Obviously, there's a whole lot more going on than just that. So the Department of Social Services works with our stakeholders to assist in our world, mostly our youth, but also with our adults. So Social Services has Adult Protective Services and Child Welfare. Now, I consider them not only essential workers, but they're first responders, because they go out 24/7. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all my social workers, whether it's Adult Protective Services or Child Welfare Services. Today with me are Yolanda, Travis, if you want to stand up. You can come all the way up here too if you want to take a moment.
Please.
So Yolanda works with our human trafficking unit, and she is a social works worker. Carlene Ortiz, she can come up if she like. Carlene is a social work supervisor with us. And then behind her is Rose
There's going to
Martinez.
be a picture, so come
Sure.
on up.
Rose Martinez is an employment and training worker who works with our folks that are involved as well. Our stakeholders today, as you've mentioned, Lieutenant Foss, Mr. Famous. Absolutely. Excellent. I noticed he already put on his website on Facebook the red sand, which I have my red sand from last year. I encourage everybody, and I'm sure he will when he comes up here, to utilize the red sand. And then we have Maddie Mendez, Executive Director of CAPMC, who also is the Director over the Victim Services Division. Okay. Let's see, we have our District Attorney, of course, is always a stakeholder in all that we do. And we can also, Yolanda, and anybody can acknowledge any other person in the audience they'd like to take. But Yolanda, would you like to say something?
No.
I'm sure
come on.
But let's see, take a moment.
My name is, my sister makes these for me. Actually, my name is pronounced Yolanda. Not Yolanda. I'd like to take this opportunity to say how very important it is that we do acknowledge sex trafficking, sexual abuse, sexual assault, all those things that are afflicted by women as well as men. And that when I first started with the Department of Social Services, I did not think that that's what I would be focusing on. But since I have been chosen to focus on all the sexual abuse referrals, I've learned a great deal, and I'm really appreciative of the opportunity to really be there for children and adults that I deal with concerning this matter, because it really is a very sensitive and important issue that they experience. So I really am appreciative of the opportunity to really be there and help people. I have a degree in clinical psychology, so I use that in the field a lot when it comes to interacting with people, helping them out, bringing them down, and letting them know that there are people out there that will be there for them and help them, and being able to give them the resources, avenues, and things they need to do to get their lives back together and get back focused. So thank you for this opportunity. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yolanda.
All right.
Yeah, Joe.
So Harlene, and again, unless you have something, or Rose, then Lieutenant Foss.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me. And I'm used to saying mayor and members of council, so I'm going to say supervisors, correct? And chairman. Thank you very much for recognizing this. I've been in law enforcement for about 17 years, and I can definitively say I think human trafficking is the absolute worst in our society, and it's unbelievable that it's still a part of our society. So as the chairman had spoken of, I founded the Olive organization about 5 years ago. But what I really want to emphasize is Olive is not mine at all. When I started this about 5 years ago, I saw a need, and I saw there was a gap, and I didn't really know how to fix that. So I didn't know what I was doing too much. I just knew we needed some type of solution. So I started just coming up with the best ideas I could do. What I have been completely humbled with, and what I hope to express here today, is Olive is the communities. This is something the community made, not any individual. The amount of support that I have seen from our community, from Madera County, from the city of Madera, from Chowchilla, everywhere, has been extremely humbling and just baffling. I use this line a lot, but the Beatles have the famous line of all you need is love. And I always say, you're a liar. You need money. You need a lot of money if you want to do anything and make a difference. And this community has just always provided. We do have a safe house, which is actually going to open almost within the week or so. And again, this is something that was donated to us. We were able to secure funds for a complete remodel of it. It's a 5-room safe house. And this is something that everybody here should be very proud of. This is very rare to actually have something like this. Our safe house is going to be the equivalent of other safe houses in the Fresno and Madera region, about the same size. This is a big deal for Madera County. Obviously, I can't give the location of where it's at, but I do want to put it out there for everybody that I would love to do a virtual tour of it once we are fully opened, or even an in-person tour, and we'll take all the safety precautions. I generally hate to think individuals, because I'll always forget somebody, but there is a few people that I really want to, that I need to notice on this, or pay special thanks to. Sally in the back, she's always been a huge supporter. When I started this 5 years ago, I reached out to her when she was with Fresno still and said, hey, I don't know what all the legal ramifications are, and some of these girls, all these girls that are involved in human trafficking, have some type of criminal aspect, a part of their life generally. And every time she's been there, immediately for help or assistance as I need it. The Sheriff's Department, and especially CAO, is that right? Or Sheriff Varney, has always been a huge supporter. And everybody up there on the dais, whether you know it or not, I've called virtually every one of your offices and always been just received immediate and open communication. And it's generally not me calling. You had said, Mr. Frazier, like, oh, they said my name wrong. It's not me calling, so they're not paying special thanks to it's my volunteers that are actually calling your offices, and every time getting a lot of support. So I want to close with, a big part of this is education. So we always make ourselves available. We do a class on human trafficking, big or small, whatever group it may need. You could contact the Olive organization through our social media. We're pretty easy to find. I work at the police department, and we do try to educate on human trafficking, what the issue is, how you can avoid it, and some of the stigmas that come involved with it. I see a lot of things on social media, especially where they kind of say how this happens, and they're generally not accurate. So human trafficking is purely through manipulation, and it's very important that people understand how you get stuck into it. The best way to combat anything is through knowledge. So we focus a lot on that. And again, our safe house, that is a very big deal for everybody in this community, and I'm extremely proud of it, not for something that we accomplished, but I'm very proud of our community. The fact that they did something like this for these girls that are involved in human trafficking is just amazing. She had mentioned that we have about 150 to 200 girls at any given time. I think when I provided those numbers, that's extremely conservative. In this region, we're in the thousands. And what we're talking about here is people being forced into a sex trade against their will. And when you see the numbers and you see the data that we do present, it is unbelievable that it's still occurring in today's world. But again, I want to thank everybody. I always forget people, but Maddie will be coming up here very soon. CAPMC, since day one, has been extremely supportive of the organization. Again, I am very humbled by the support. We're only 5 years young, which is very young for a nonprofit organization. And I'll tell you right now, sometimes I'm like, holy heck, because it's a lot of work being part of it. But I'm very proud of it, and I would love for anybody that does have any questions regarding it, please reach out. And I'd love to show you everything we have.
Can we hold questions until the end, because we have about 3 or 4 more, and then
Of
I'd
course.
like to have an avalanche of questions.
I just
If we-
want a real quick one with him.
Okay.
Nobody else, just him.
All right,
Okay.
real quick.
You came up and talked to our Rotary Club in Oakhurst, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
That's what I thought. He came up about that about 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah, so I'm open to those anytime.
Amazing.
If you have more follow-up questions, sometimes those are the best.
Yeah.
Big or small, I'm open to groups.
I just like to get the presentations, and then we can ask everybody all these questions. But anyway, Maddie, go ahead and come on up. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I would like to share and thank our staff at Victim Services, Tina Rodriguez, the victim witness team. They're there to support the human trafficking victims. I'd also like to make sure the board is aware we have a child advocacy center that is a multi-disciplinary team that involves all of your community stakeholders for interviews. And lately, we've been conducting some interviews of some adults that are disabled. And we've used our capacity. It's nationally accredited. And we've used that platform in order to obtain the interview and for prosecution purposes and investigative purposes. So I thank you for your support. I thank Deborah and her team. You are first responders. I agree. I agree that, victims services is also first responders. They're there when the need, when they reach out and to call them. So thank you for your support. And I hope that our department heads within the county will take this proclamation and share it with their staff. The statistics are there. This is a way to bring awareness. And I hope that in 2021, we have more additional virtual training to bring awareness, not only to staff, but to the community. Thank you for your time.
Without a doubt. Thank you so much, Maddie. Very good. Sheriff.
I just wanted to take a moment and acknowledge and introduce a very important detective as it relates to this matter. So one of the things that the board, your board, or you approved was grant funds and some matching funds in order for us to go after a detective to do nothing but investigate these types of crimes and incidents. So with those grant funds, we were able to promote and dedicate Detective Bianca Zendejas, who's quietly standing there in the back. And that's what she spends her day-to-day doing, is going after, tracking down, and helping these victims and relentlessly seeking out these criminals. So we're very proud of her, and we're very grateful for the support from the board in getting that, that position to the sheriff's office.
Very good. Well, thank you so much. And it's, like you said, it's a great team. It's not one person. It's going to take takes so many people together. It takes the community, as Lieutenant Foss pointed out, especially with the fundraising and people making those sacrifices. So if there's no other presentations, we do have a few questions from, and I believe Supervisor Rogers has a question, and then Supervisor Frazier.
Yeah, also in the way of report from this board, we participate as stakeholders through RCRC in what they call Operation Protect. And we provide $500,000 a year for that operation, which goes in and educates certain grade levels of students all the way up to high school, and to, like as you said, Officer Foss, that educated is forearmed, and that's an important aspect of that. I wanted to ask you, Den, how is the fundraising more difficult right now due to the pandemic? What's going on with that, and are you getting what you need?
So, short answer is yes, but also yes, we are getting what we need. We've been transitioning to much more social media fundraising, but again, the community, they've really stepped in. They see the need. They recognize that it's harder. We've had 4, I believe, dinners, which were all a huge success. And during the pandemic, I was very scared. We generally have them in September, October, and that's a big part of our annual funding. When we couldn't have it this year, I had a moment of panic. But thankfully, the community has stepped in. I'm not going to say we're flush. We're always, every month it seems like, oh boy, what are we going to do? But every month we get through, and it's all through generosity of the community. So
I'd like to encourage the community, something I did in Chowchilla, and I put it on my Facebook, that these organizations that serve our community are suffering and need our help. And I want to encourage the community to step up to the plate, those of you that are able to step up to the plate and contribute to organizations like this. And I'm gonna encourage by saying today, I pledge $500 to your organization right now. And anybody that's willing to do that, match me, and let's get behind God's work in our community right here. That's what this is. So let's put our money where our mouth is, and let's step up to these organizations.
I thank you very much for that. And we are, I will mention here, a 501c3. So we are a full a tax donatable organization. And again, when we do take any one of these girls, when they come into our program, we're taking care of them completely. And as anybody know that has kids, it's expensive. I mean, any individual girl is going to cost us. We provide counseling, and we pay for the counseling. We provide food, we pay for the food. We provide clothing, we paid for that. And we provide shelter. So it's between $1,500 and $2,000 per month per individual that comes through our program. So it's very expensive, but it's very worth it. And this is what I always say: if it was your daughter or your sister, what's the dollar sign you'd put on that? And every one of these girls that come through, one of our first ones, her dad was a principal and her mom was a teacher. These are not people where you would think, I hate to say it, but we have the stigma of, one of the things I educate on is when I first started, what do we all think? And there's no guilt in this. Oh, they're beneath me. I'm not going to worry about them. They're a prostitute. They want to be doing it. No, that's not the case. They got stuck into this life and they're trapped. And so we're trying to do our part to get those out that we can rescue. We're not going to get them all. But again, if it was your daughter, your sister, or somebody you cared about, and every one of these girls has a daughter or is somebody's daughter or sister. So thank you again. I don't want to
find that organization online, or can you give us?
If you search Olive Madera through social media, we should be the first one to come up on Facebook, through most of your social media services. Or again, I work with the police department. Dan Foss, I'm pretty easy to find here in the community or the organization.
Thank you very
Good.
much.
Thank you so much, Supervisor Frazier.
Yeah, so a couple of things. So to donate, is it through Facebook, or is it on the website to be able to donate?
So I will actually get that if you give me 1 second, and I'll put it up here. But through Facebook, we do have a link, and then we have our own website too, Olive Madera, and we do have, you're available to donate directly through the site.
Great. Yeah, and bringing up the point of the Protect on the ICYSC, we would discuss that and getting it out to the community. I think, you're getting out on social media, but that's also where a lot of these traffickers are going and finding the girls that are, they
Correct.
probably have just they look at it and they could probably tell which ones are more susceptible to it, but getting that education out early on how to, and as parents, making sure that don't feel like you're impeding on your kids' civil liberties. They don't have any until they're out of your house. So look at who they're talking to, what they're doing. It starts at home. A lot of times they don't have that network, but as you said, first one was a daughter of a principal and a teacher who probably thought that they didn't need to worry because their daughter was great and just got into that. And so it's important that we start that early and getting that education to the parents on what signs to look for is important. And I know for the longest time, the easiest crime to put a case on was the sex worker that's out there on the streets because they're out there, and it's the person that's really pandering them out or pimping them out or running these rings is the real criminal in all of this, and they were always the hardest to get. And I know for a long time it was hard to put cases on those. Is there anything that we can do in our through our criminal penal codes to be able to put cases on the ones that are actually the true criminals that are putting these people out that would not be wanting to do this otherwise?
So you bring up a lot of very good points, and I could stand here for a long time and get it because it's a long subject matter on it. But the short answer is the sheriff's department has done excellent, had a few excellent cases in regards to pimping and pandering is what the charge is called. So the charge is already on the books at the state level. But again, as you mentioned, it's extremely difficult to actually catch the main culprits for this. And the reason for that is in my experience, as long as I've been doing this, I have never found one girl when we first contact her who openly admits I have a controller. And the reason for that is if she admits that right up front, she's admitting that she is being, and I don't want to get into too bad a terminology here with our audience, but if she says she's doing these acts against her will 20 to 30 times a week minimum, then that means she's been forced into sexual acts or raped against her will 20 to 30 times minimum. It takes months of counseling to get to that level. They're not going to speak on that when law enforcement first contacts them. So if we don't have a victim, we don't have a crime. Very difficult.
And they think he loves them or he's
protecting
them.
Many times, or just they've convinced themselves through safety measures of their own psyche of convincing themselves of that so that they can survive the trauma that they're enduring. The other thing that you had mentioned is start at home. That's a big part of my education part is do not make this taboo. When we want our kids to drive safe, what do? We talk to them about driving. If we want our kids not to do drugs, what do? We talk to them about drugs. But very few people have that conversation about, hey, here's human trafficking. And the big problem is most of us don't know. The internet has really changed human trafficking and the level of it. It's made it much more accessible to everybody and made it a much bigger problem. So most parents, myself included, we didn't have this problem for schools. But now the kids do. When we do our education, it is extremely rare that I will have a group of less than, if I teach 10, at least 20 to 40% of them have been contacted by a controller. Doesn't mean they're going to bite. But again, the controllers are just fishing. They're just hoping somebody's going to get on the line. So it is a problem. It is a major problem, and our youth will experience it. So do not make it taboo. This is not something that we can sit on and hope it goes away.
Supervisor Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to commend the staff over at Social Services and at Victim Services for the work that you do. As a previous advocate in my last lifetime, some of the things that we see and hear are pretty heavy and horrendous, and it takes a special person to do that line of work. So thank you very much for everything that you do.
Very good. Thank you. If there's no other presentations or comments, I will open it up to the public. Are there any members of the public who wish to comment on this particular item? If not, we will gather up here for a photo. I have a proclamation I'd like to present, and so let's gather.
Do we stand?
Okay.
Yeah. Before we need it with this.
New Year. I will. I'll tell my mom. Great.
There you go.
No, this-
We're behind you. Literally.
Better smile so I can see you. Yes.
Okay, now let's move on to the consent calendar. Are there any items on the consent calendar a supervisor would like to have pulled for further discussion?
Chairman,
Yes, council.
if I can, prior to
Please.
discussing and taking a vote on consent calendar, 2 items to point out to the board. Item J as in joy and item U as in unicorn. Item J as in joy, what you'll see on the description, and my recommendation would be that you can continue to discuss and vote on this, is there's a typographical error. Rather than on item J, the description being an agreement, it says with the County Medical Services Program, it's actually with the California Department of Public Health. The backup is correct, but we wanted to point that out for you and members of the public. Also on item U, the agenda description is correct for anyone in the public that wanted to know what the board would be discussing. However, the backup was inadvertently not carried over correctly because this item was continued from the last meeting. And so the backup, the correct backup for that item is available to the public. It should be a copy for each one of you and is also available for the clerk of the board. So other than that, I don't think that there's any need to pull these items, but again, that's up to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Very
don't-
good, thank you.
I don't want to pull one, I just want to talk about item U.
You, okay,
Because
very
the
good.
public is being misled on this, you know, because you look at it, the contract from that company, right here,
Wood Rogers.
Wood Rogers, they got right in here, 60-something thousand total, and for their thing, $35,000 for task 1.01, and $30,033 for task 4.02. And now I got this correction that says that there's construction and support services on 4.01. And what is that, 30,000? And now they say that's $30,033. That's not what on the contract from him. So where does that 30,000 extra come from? I don't think that's the number I added up when I added it up.
Thank you, Supervisor Matt Traber, Chief of Development Services. I have Jared Carter here as well, Deputy Director. So the construction services, that's a mandated state requirement for these types of projects where we have state water grant dollars. We have to have a construction management entity overseeing all aspects during the construction phase, which we just got authorization from the state to proceed for. So these are all 100% reimbursable grant funds from the state of California, but that's that additional traffic, that line to this would be the construction management. So there was work that Wood Rogers did to get us to this phase, which the contract covers that, and then the additional task for the construction management.
And why isn't that in his contract? That he signed right here. Jeffrey Lodge.
So it does talk about construction support, task 4.02, in the $30,033, and then the task 1.01 there on page 1 of that contract was that additional work to get us to this point, the 35,000.
Yeah, he's got just 35,000, but now on this, your new revision you gave me is $66,255.
That's correct. I apologize. So Jared's got the latest. So it's 66,000 for the revised existing
Well, it's
documents.
just, I think it's really important, you know, because once you put this out last week, Thursday or Friday, you know, the public sees that. And when they go back and read the description of what the project's about and stuff, it's got the 96,000, whatever it is on it. But when you add them up, they don't come up to that. So I just, you know, we got to really watch that, because if somebody's not watching this and they'll say, well, somebody just got $30,000 for something. You know what I mean?
Yes, Supervisor. I mean, it's an excellent point. We certainly don't want that discussion or documentation to reflect that. So moving forward, we'll absolutely make sure.
Yeah. If this paper would have been in there, this piece, I could have added it up and it would have come out right. It wasn't in there. So.
Yeah.
And I still don't understand it. I mean, these numbers that he has here on his contract still don't really, I mean, the one matches, but the other ones don't match. So I don't know. But anyway, thanks for getting it corrected. That's the main thing.
Okay, very good. If there's no other questions on that item, are there any questions on any other consent calendar item?
Anything else?
If not, are there any comments from the public regarding consent calendar items?
Move to approve.
Second?
As corrected.
We have a
Yeah,
motion.
that's corrected.
That's corrected per council.
Good with the second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Chairman Poitras?
Yes,
Vote approved, 5-0.
thank you.
Hey, her first yes. Her first vote.
Boy.
Woo! Woo! You didn't vote no.
Max went out on a no.
Don't get much better than that, right? Oh, boy. Moving on to discussion items, 10A, County Administration Department.
Yes, 10A, Chairman, is the second reading to adopt an ordinance adding section 2.0906 to the county code related to campaign contributions. And I'll be presenting that staff report. At your last meeting, this ordinance, was introduced, and the reading of the title was done, and the reading of the title ordinance was waived. At that time, also, the board approved a resolution which effectively set into motion that this county will continue to carry forward as it always has, meaning status quo with no limit on campaign contributions as are set forth for state elected officials, certain state elected officials running for office. And this item here is to have a second reading to consider finalizing this into our county code. And if it's adopted, it would be effective 30 days from now. And in that 30 days, the resolution would therefore be withdrawn. And the ordinance or this particular regulation would be on our county code rather than by resolution. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Very good, thank you. Any questions? Any questions from the public? If not, let's bring it back for
I
action.
move to accept the second reading and adopt.
Second? Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Hey.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Chairman Poitras?
Yes.
Vote approved, 5-0.
Very good, thank you. And 10B, the Library Department StarNet Steam Equity Project.
There she is, Miss Librarian. of the
Yes,
year.
Chairman, and this item for your board's consideration is to accept a grant and then also enter into an agreement with the Space Science Institute which would essentially fund and help administer the StarNet STEM Equity Project. So approval of the funding and entering into an agreement for this program is up for your consideration, and county librarian here with our grant director to provide more information.
Okay. Very good.
There we go. Tristan Champ, Grant Services Manager, and I just wanted to give a little, just a very brief introduction just about what this program does in general, and that the American Library Association StarNet STEAM Equity Project Grant, the purpose of this program is to bring culturally inclusive science, technology, and engineering, arts, and math, or STEAM programming and exhibitions to rural library patrons, especially to often underreached Latino populations. The grant provides up to $15,000 awards for projects that will involve STEAM exploration spaces seeded by professional development opportunities. And the exploration spaces are seeded by StarNet traveling exhibitions, active learning programs, STEAM outreach to kids, and as I mentioned earlier, professional development opportunities. Ultimately, projects will engage rural families to empower queens or young children in STEAM culture and learning in partnership with library staff and their community and collaborators. Funding may be used again for professional development activities, for support for community partnerships, and to purchase STEAM learning materials. So that's what the grant's about. And Kristen, our library staff, are going to tell us more about our specific project.
Chairman, members of the board, I'm Amanda Judd with the Chowchilla Library. And first off, I would like to express my sincere gratitude and enthusiasm for my library to be the recipient of this award. We are one of 12 libraries in the entire nation and the only library in California. So it's really exciting. We'll be working diligently with our school districts. They're going to be instrumental in us recruiting staff, or not staff, but participants for the program. We will have STEAM lending kits that will be checked out that will provide accessible information to address issues of household waste, renewable energy sources, trial and error, and basics of robotics. We'll be addressing design and creativity through building structures that allow us to test the mechanics and defiance of gravity. This grant will also afford us the prospect of creating physical exhibits that will travel the nation and promise and showcase the talents of our youth. In turn, we'll be hosting traveling exhibits from other selected libraries in a museum setting fashion that will be available to the public for viewing and possibly interaction depending on the circumstances of COVID at that time. We'll host 3 exhibits each year for 3 months at a time, and this term will cover a period of 4 years and a new group of participants each year. We're going to be specifically focusing on tween girls in the Latinx community in grades 5 through 8, and I'm eager to demonstrate the youth and talents that we have in Chowchilla. Thank you.
Very good. And then one more, and then great.
Keep it quick. Can you hear me okay with the mask on?
You better take it off so we can hear you.
What?
Sorry. I just want to say I'm so proud of our team. When we got this news, I think Amanda and I both cried a little bit. We put so much into this application with Tristan's help. It was a 2-part process. It was a peer-reviewed, ALA is our big organization for libraries, so I couldn't be more proud. We thought it might be a long shot, but let's go for it, and then to get it is just thrilling. It's wonderful. So in addition to Amanda, we'll also be using Anna E. Mendez from Chowchilla, and then 2 of our team from Madera, Yvette Herrera, our wonderful children's person, and also Ignacio Negrete, who a lot of you have met with his video skills for our story times. He's going to do some virtual robotics for the kids up there. It's really exciting. While the dollar amount isn't huge for this grant, it's what we get out of it that I think is more important. It's a 4-year project. In that time, Amanda will get so much professional development through the American Library Association. She'll really get leadership skills ways to plan, ways to present, ways to recruit. It includes community conversations so we can learn more about our communities and what their needs are. And we're just so grateful for everyone's help with the application and the support. As I said, Tristan and Amanda especially, but also Regina's team with County Council really sped through to get our agreement done so we could meet our deadline to accept. Of course, our CAO is always so supportive. We're thrilled for that. And of course, our Board of Supervisors. So we're, as Amanda said, we're excited to start promoting this. We can't wait to sing from the rooftops and sharing the experience with the community.
Very good. Supervisor
thank you.
Frazier.
Yeah, I think this taps on what you said earlier. They weren't just surviving, they were thriving during this time and focusing on things that were out of your control, but your work going in and the result that comes out of it is speaks for itself. My question is, the STEAM, so I knew what STEM was. It was science, technology, engineering, and math. So what's the new A? Is that and, or is it?
Well, there is sort of a joke in there in the education world that after a while it's going to be the whole kitchen sink.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
A is for the arts, that the kids can express themselves through the arts.
Good. Arts are.
Yeah.
I'm glad that that's in there. I thought it might be and. I thought maybe M became mechanics and then this was arithmetic and we were going backwards. But so I mean, arts are just it creates a way of thinking and allows people to flourish. And like you said, $15,000 is not a lot, but what it gets for you all the intangibles, but getting our kids to fall in love with this stuff early and coming back to here, that $15,000 becomes millions of dollars over the life of our citizens. And congratulations for being awarded this. And I'd like to move to approve once we go out to the public.
Okay. Supervisor Rogers.
I'm really happy this has happened in my district, and I want to be able to promote it. And what grade levels was it again?
5 to 8. 5 to 8.
5 through 8.
Yeah, our
And-
tweens, which are kind of that in between, not quite
Right.
teens yet, but not kids anymore. It's a hard
And,
age to.
as you're probably already aware, my wife sits as she's the president of the elementary school board, so she would be really, really interested in working with you to promote that inside the elementary school district. And we want to make sure that it's taken full advantage of. In addition to that, I might also encourage you, I know in Madera they had the robotics program through the high school, which is still quite exciting because at one point they were national champions in robotics competitions a couple of times. And so I think getting them involved to help us stimulate something in the local area to show what I know they would love to come over and show their wares, So that would be a great thought as well. In addition to that, partners that were utilized during their need for funds were involved in the Industrial Association in Madera. So this is something you might consider also, is to let the Industrial Association know this is happening, and if they can help partner with a little bit, they might want to partner with you in some of that, and expand the use of your money, which would be great. So I'm very excited. I want to put this on our social media on the county, as well as I want to be able to tag it on my own. And thank you, Amanda, and thank you for our great county librarian and of course our grants writer. We appreciate all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Like
you,
I said, I'm
team.
so proud of our team, not just this team, but the whole team.
Yes.
They really worked hard.
I just like to say that I'm happy to see it happen in our county regardless of the district.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Okay, so I believe, let's go to the public. Any comments from the public regarding this item? I don't see or hear any, so I believe.
Move to approve?
Second.
We have a motion and a
Oh, sorry,
second.
this is in your
No,
district.
this is
I'm
your
sorry,
district.
I
That's
rescind,
okay.
I rescind my motion.
Oh, that's right, it's in his
That's all right.
district. But he talked about the robotics in my district.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I did.
I think,
No
I
worries.
think you should
No
let
worries.
Supervisor Gonzalez move or second it since she's a Chowchilla graduate.
Yes, it should be David and Letty.
Right.
I'll be happy to make the motion, and thank
There
you
we
for
go.
deferring
Hey.
to me.
I rescind
Who's making the motion?
Supervisor Rogers.
I'll make the motion, and then,
I'll second that.
great.
And I think Jay Varney should be able to vote since he lives in District 2.
Nothing like
Thank you
tribal.
for deferring to me, that's
I'm
nice.
sorry,
Hey,
I got a
that's
little
what you
ahead
call
of myself.
teamwork.
Nothing
bet.
like
Thank you.
tribalism, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard arts and I was all over it.
I
All
hear you,
right,
man.
roll call vote.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Chairman Poitras?
Yes,
Vote passes 5-0.
very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great. Right, very good. Is there any pending legislation? I don't see or hear anybody running up about it. Let's start off with supervisor and staff reports. So I'll start to my right, Supervisor Gonzalez.
Hey.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for the committee assignments. My assignment starts tomorrow at 8 a.m. with the first 5. So very excited, and thank you very much. Today was a good day, so thank you.
Very good. Now it's called get to work, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. Very good. Well, congratulations. I have nothing to report. Supervisor Rogers.
I would like to report that I've been appointed again by the president of NACO to the Agricultural Committee for ag and resources for the nation, and that's quite an honor, and I appreciate the appointment, and I'll do my best.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very good. Supervisor Frazier.
I'd just like to thank our outgoing chairman
Thank you.
for all the hard work. This was a unprecedented year to get through, and appreciate your leadership through that. Our incoming chair, I've been under your tutelage many a times in meetings. I know how you like to run your meetings, so everybody's going to need to stay on track. And
Get ready, huh?
I'm going to sit on my hands and make sure I don't get a slap. So I'm excited for this year. And to our new supervisor, I could not be prouder of you. I remember it was probably, I was still on the city council, had you were over at the house, and Emily and I were trying to get you to run way back then, and you said, absolutely not, there's no way I'd ever do it. And to see you sitting here today, it's just one of the coolest things. So I'm excited for the county, and some tribalism, District 4 is lucky to have you.
There you go. Supervisor Wheeler.
Ditto on that. I mean,
Yeah, same here.
she learned the ropes for 13 years now. Her and Maria, Max and I interviewed them the same time. They brought us, I think, 10 people for that interview, and we come out winners. That's all I can
Yeah.
say.
Why didn't you choose Liddy? That's interesting,
And,
Tom.
I know. There you go.
Here we are now, 13
Well,
years later.
See, he knew that Max needed more help.
Max got the final say. I didn't. It's like I did with Maria. I mean, so it's been a pleasure, and it's going to be a better pleasure now working side by side. So thank
There
you.
go. Beautiful.
Happy New Year to everybody. I mean,
Yep.
I hope we have a better year than we had last year.
Yes, sir.
It'll be
It'll be
good.
better
We're- Very good. CAO Varney,
Nothing to report, Mr. Chairman.
County Council.
No report, other than I was looking forward to today's meeting, and I'm looking forward to 2021 and ways to serve this county and this agency better.
Well, thank you. You're a great part of the team. Absolutely. And clerk of the board.
Welcome, Leticia Gonzalez. Excited for you. Congratulations.
Very good. Thank you so much. And with that, we shall adjourn.
Hey, good job.
Off and running.
Coming the same day.
Right.
Very good, sir. Thank you again for.
Can we look at that backup?
I love it. Oh, he took you.
I've got it right here, I've got it right here. Oh, you- Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for the support.
Oh, well, we're a well-oiled machine.
You know, I felt really good going to.
Ah,
I felt like fighting. Just
good.
because I.
Ah,
It was
well.
hard making all the.
Oh,
I thought to
yeah.
myself, available on his
Yeah.
That was from him.
It's hot.
That turned out to be.
Newer one, they showed me over there.
He had the